first time, and I'm asking everybody this, what was the first time you heard Van Halen? Tell me the story.
I remember it beyond specifically. This is a true story. I was at my friend Ted Rosinko's basement. That was his name, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. And I remember being down there and we heard Eruption. So I heard this, I heard Eruption. And then all of a sudden, his older brother owned the album. And it kicked into You Really Got Me. You know, that bow now. And that moment, not that day, that moment changed my life. I was like, it was the best sound I'd ever heard. It was unbelievably cool. I'd heard people talking about the album, but there wasn't social media then, so you heard it through word of mouth. And that moment changed my life. Now, being that I was a true up-and-coming, really starving musician, I borrowed that record from Ted Rosinko's older brother, and I took a severe beating for taking that album home with me, and it was worth I took an ongoing beating for about a week, and I gave the record back, and I still took a beating, but it was worth every beating I took.
You know, just
and I don't mean a beating like verbally. I'm talking about a physical beating.
A couple black eyes for getting the Van Halen record. Mike McCready from Pearl Jam was on just before you, and he said something which blew my mind. He said to me that when he first started taking guitar lessons, in his first lesson, his guitar teacher played him Eruption, and I was like, man, talk about setting the bar and intimidating you as a player. I would imagine for you, you're a young, up and coming, starving musician, and you hear Eruption, and that to me would be like, you know what? I think I'm just going to front the band. I think I'm just going to sing. I'm not going to attempt to pick up a guitar.
Let me tell you, my first. Let me add to that story. I can't take it away, but I can add to it. My first guitar lesson, right, because I love the guitar, was at Stabile's Music on Trindle Road. I went in to take the guitar lesson. Back then, you could smoke, so the rooms were the size of maybe a small compact car. You had a little plug-in amp, and the guy was smoking a cigarette, sitting in a chair. I went to play a little of that early Zeppelin, Sweet Home Alabama, and they said, no, follow the notes, and I played Mary Had a Little Lamb, a little bump, 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 and I'm like, no. That was my one and only guitar lesson. I went straight to the classics right after that. I went to Skinner, Van Halen, Zeppelin, and learned from listening. And that is as true a story as it gets. But it was when I heard that, the rhythm guitar of You Really Got Me, and all of a sudden it goes, and it kicked in. It was, I can't explain it. I got chills on my arm. It was life-changing.
See, that's the thing I've been saying ever since yesterday. The immediate go-to, and I get it, is great guitar player, incredible playing, the hammer-ons, the shredding and all that. Yeah, but also the songs. Without the great songs, the riffs. I mean, for all the talk about his lead playing, the riffs were insane, but the whole songs, better than anybody, you can be the biggest virtuoso in the world, but if you don't have great songs around it, it doesn't mean as much. And the thing that was so special about Van Halen to me was it was this amazing player, but surrounded by and built around great songs to this day that are as great as when I first heard them. Eddie,
1,000,000%. That's what I'm saying. The songs held up. The guitar playing was out of this world and original. Like, you're thinking, and the cradle, and all of a sudden, all these cool things were happening, and a little bit in the vein of that, and I'm saying this with all respect, that Hendrix, they opened up a world, Jimmy Page, they opened up a world of being creative with that guitar, and Eddie and Dave and Michael and Alex, it was a chemistry, and then Sammy, I love Sammy, there was a chemistry there of great songs and insanely great guitar riffs. It was the perfect combo.
When was the first time you saw Van Halen live?
Well, are you ready for this story? I will give you the truest story ever. So I'm in the car. At the time, I drive down to the Spectrum in Philly with Ricky Rocket, our drummer, right? He has his girlfriend, I have my girlfriend. We drive all the way down. We had bought, you ready for this? The show was sold out. we bought 4 tickets to a horse race. We didn't know that you could get scammed. Ricky will tell you the story verbatim. We searched the parking lot, and the guy that worked for Van Halen, who I believe I'd stayed in contact with for years and years, even after we finally Poison broke, he said we were really bummed out. We couldn't get into the show, and he saw us out there and realized we had been scammed. And he goes, "These are great tickets. They're to a horse." This is like I'm making this. It was like to a horse race that had happened like a month ago, but it looked like a concert ticket because they retyped the Van Halen like physically over it. And he gave us 4 incredible seats on the floor, and we went in there, and we got in there just as the show started, and it was again mind blowing.
What tour was it, Brett? What tour was it?
You know what? I'm going to go to say it was maybe it wasn't Diver Down. It had to be Fair Warning. I think it was Fair Warning. I wanted to say Women and Children first, but I don't think that was it. It was right after in that area.
Right.
But I want to say maybe Fair Warning or Diver Down.
That's an amazing story because
that correctly.
Yeah, that's an amazing story that you got that break, though, because, I mean, how many times, I mean, I know so many people that would go out and you'd scalp tickets out front, and then you'd find out they were counterfeit, or when you got to that turnstile, the thing wouldn't let you through and all that. But you had tickets to a horse race, and you're all amped up. But what a break for somebody to bail you out like that, man. That's incredible.
He saw, I think, and I say this, he could feel the bummed outness of my soul, not only for the embarrassment in front of my then girlfriend, but also the Ricky and me staring at each other, starving musicians, wanting to see Van Halen. And this guy was he was searching the parking lot. And I will eventually come back to you in a week or two with his actual name. And he worked for them forever. And he was the guy that made sure this wasn't happening to people, but I had pre-bought mine way back in Harrisburg. And all of a sudden I looked down and they're like, everything's right, except this was to a horse race. It looked like a concert ticket. It smelled like a concert ticket. It wasn't a concert ticket.
Brett, did you ever meet him? I know there was a photo online I think you posted of you guys on a golf course or something. So I guess you had some direct interaction with him?
Always. And we had a couple great charity golf events, obviously backstage at concerts. But one of the best stories ever is coming out of one of the golf charity events. And you can't, in true Bret Michaels fashion, my car didn't start. I can't make this up. I left the lights on, and Eddie actually helped me get the car jumped. I can't, as true as I'm sitting here, it happened.
That is amazing.
I was making this up, but it is my life story. I managed to be, even the comedy of errors that I have, I managed to get through and survive it.
That is incredible. So you had some experiences with him. Did you know him well? Were you in touch with him, or was it just sort of events that you ran into each other?
It was events. And again, great events, more than an acquaintance, but definitely was not an everyday event, but at great events. And we saw each other in Houston at another golf charity thing. Poison was touring, they were touring, and we went down and had an amazing time. And Michael Anthony and Sammy have ended up being really good friends from it. And it was just, again, I want to say this, and I know you have a lot of musicians and people that want to talk about it, but it's as I say this with a true humbleness and sadness in my voice, he helped change my life. It was awesome. Yeah, you got a favorite record? I do, all of them, every single one of them. But my favorite is the first record. It was that first album. When I say this, I took a beating for it. I mean, I got thrown against the lockers, punched in the gut, because I borrowed what was probably one of the best guitar riffs I'd ever heard, and it was worth it. Wow, that's amazing. Bret Michaels takes a beating for getting the first Van Halen record. That is incredible. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if that's more impressive or Eddie Van Halen helping you jumpstart your car. Either way.
Those are great stories, man.
Equally, it showed the caliber of person he was. Meaning, we were out, and I would do the same for you or anybody. But him coming out there and literally could have walked right by, stopped, helped me get the car jumped and going. It was just a good day in life, and one of those ones that I think people don't think that really happens, but it did, and it even made you like him, the music, and the chemistry of everyone. Like I said, Sammy's been to my house many times. Michael, I toured with David Lee Roth on Skyscraper, but Eddie, his originality, and his brother Alex, they just amazing, really set a tone for a lot of people that wanted to be musicians.
Yeah, and you think of all those folks today. I was in touch with Sammy and Michael earlier today, and even Gary Sharon, who is very broken up over this.
Gary,
and
absolutely.
You forget about Gary, and he was just he was in there too. So it's a rough day, but I think everybody is trying to think of all these great stories. And as I've been saying consistently, Brett, I mean, look, and I've hung with you. We've been on the bus partying with you and whatever. I mean, I know what a music lover you are. And sadly, some of the music we love, even we were a little too young to experience maybe seeing Hendrix or Zeppelin in their day or whatever. But the nice thing here is, as much as it sucks that we've lost this guy, we can say, because of that Mount Rushmore of all-time greats, he's on it. We can say we lived that one. We saw that one. We knew that one. And I think that's a really special thing.
It is, and I'm agreeing with you 1,000%. And I've got the horse tickets with Van Halen typed on it to prove it.
Do you really still have them?
I know I'm a hoarder, so I know I got that somewhere. All my memorabilia of music stuff that have changed my life, I know I have those. And trust me, in a couple of weeks, I will have the gentleman's name that got us into Van Halen. He saw the true bummed outness and laughed at the tickets and gave us 4 tickets to go in.
Oh, that's a great story. Listen, bud, I appreciate a few minutes, and let's talk again under better circumstances. You're good. The family's well. The health is okay.
Health is good. Family's good. I want to say this to you. Stay healthy. I need you, my friend. And to Wolfgang, to Valerie, to everybody out there, my deepest condolences.